Today is hour 3 beginner club bells, and we're working on a move called swipes. I'm going to be using a 10-pound club. I've been doing this for years, and a 10-pound club is still a lot. It's heavy. So when you're starting out working on these moves and learning this technique, it is a great idea to start with a lower weight. They have 3 pounds, 5 pounds, there's lots of options, and I'll have a link in the description below for where you can get your club bells. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, click the bell for notifications, like this video, and be sure to come back next week when we will have a full follow-along workout in this playlist based on all of these moves. Today we're going to work on a swipe with a single club. So I'm using a 10-pound club. There's basically 4 different movements that all make up the entire swipe. So first things first, I'm going to show you what the whole move looks like. I think the easiest way to do that is from the side position. I'm starting with my right hand on top, and I will explain how that is important to always be switching which hand is on top. But first, let's just show you the move. So there you go. That's a whole swipe, right? It looks like there's a lot of parts to it. First and foremost, which hand is on top? That's important because you want to make sure that you're actually working both sides evenly. Imagine at some point you learn how to do this and you only need one hand, and then you're doing 2 clubs or you're doing it one-handed. Either way, you want to make sure both hands are equally working. So we're going to switch which hand is working. And in the workout that I'm going to post next week, that's a full follow-along workout, you'll see me switching which hand is on top between each round. So, first part of this movement is a rocket. Now I'm going to have my left hand on top just to change it up. So, a rocket is just going back and forth between your legs. Staying pretty low. You're kind of in a squat position, and you should bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce every time you go forward and back. So this will be a lot of legs, this part of it, but it'll feel good afterwards. That's the first part of the swipe, right? Being able to come all the way back here, here, working that angle. Next part is a swing. So now I'm going to swing back behind me in that little bounce, all the way up to about shoulder height. You don't need to go higher than that. It might not feel like a ton when you're doing this one particular movement, but trust me, as you build on more and more, it becomes a lot. So when you're doing that swing, every time you get to the top, you want to make sure you're really squeezing your butt, pushing that pelvis forward, thrusting, so it's the hips doing a lot more of the work than the arms. The arms don't need to be doing this part. They have a whole other job as we're getting to. So that's the swing. Now we're going to do swing to catch. Same basic movement, but now you want to find the club bell in order. My right hand will be on top this time. And I'm going to swing through and stop. So this is order, right? And you have the club bell in line with your shoulder, with your arm. If you were looking in the mirror, you wouldn't be able to see your forearm. That's order. Same basic idea, even with 2 hands. So here we go. If it comes a little bit closer to your midline, that's okay, right? You're using 2 hands, so it's not unreasonable for it to be closer to here. But think about how it would be if you just had 1 hand on it. Here. Swing to catch, stop. Great place to breathe. This is surprisingly a lot of work, just stopping. Still squeezing the butt when you stop at the top. So you still have to squeeze your butt to get there, right? Just like you did for the swing. And now you're pulling your hand, this is more wrist work, pulling your hand straight up so that you're not exactly balancing, but you are doing the work of holding that club upright. Now, we're going to do a pullover. Right hand is on top. So I'm going to go all the way through the move. here to here, this is where we're actually going to start. This part of the move is just a pullover. As you do this, you really want to think about keeping your core zipped up, and then as if you have a little button on your shirt right here in that breastbone. So if you see me doing it, you will see as I do this, I'm not letting myself fall all the way backwards. I'm keeping my core engaged as I go overhead, and then it's really working as I pull down. All of this is working, staying tight. Still squeezing my butt, spreading the earth with my feet, and I'm engaging, pushing that pelvis forward. This is the pullover, right? So the spreading the earth with your feet really helps right here because it helps that pull back down. It's a great way to give your body a lot of extra work somehow. It's the same thing when you engage your grip strength. All of a sudden you can engage your glutes more, your core more. Same sort of thing works with your feet. So that is the whole movement, right, in 4 different pieces. So now I'm going to show you again what it looks like when you do a full swipe. Left hand is on top this time. So I'm going to break it down like I'm doing each individual move, trying to move slowly until I get to the next part. Here we go. So there's a great stopping point right here, right? You're in order. This is a good place to hold. Great place to breathe. Right? Here and here. So each individual movement, if you practice them separately, will strengthen the entire move, but it's also a great place to start. If any part of it feels a little bit wonky, if you're worried about hitting your head, there's no reason to worry. It doesn't hurt. And you're not really going to. You're in control of this club. If you need to choke up so you're holding it a little bit higher, that's totally fine. You can be here. Same thing. You're really focused on using your core, engaging all of that, squeezing the buns, spreading the earth with your feet as you do this, whether you're choking up here or holding down at the bottom. So I want you to go through each of these parts and be working on this because again, next week I'm going to post a full follow along video that is a workout based on all of these moves. So it should be fun, kind of hard, definitely sweaty. But it'll be great. I just want to show you really quickly what it looks like when you do this with a 5-pound club. Same exact thing. It's just a lighter weight, which is a great way to start anything because better to learn the technique, know what you're doing first, and then as you get stronger and more confident, you can move up in weight, right? You don't want to start really heavy if you haven't really figured out how your body's supposed to move in this yet. So my right hand is on top. So here, same exact kind of move. I don't have as much weight, so it's not pulling me forward and back in the same way, but that's okay. This is a great place to start. And then we come here, swing, squeeze, squeeze the butt. And then we go swing to catch. And now we're gonna go all the way through, pull over. You don't want to fall forward and be too low. You're still really engaging. You're tucking your pelvis under the entire time. You're trying to create a nice flat back as you do this. Kind of looking forward towards the front of your mat as you do the move. And that's swipes.